She actually believes that you have amnesia. Mr. Miller, you know how to keep your wife in check well. I had a doctor friend vouch for me. Giselle felt too sorry for me to suspect anything. She was so eager for me to recover quickly that she took on the role of a nanny, cooking and cleaning every day. It's hilarious. A burst of laughter drowned out Ambrose Miller's voice. I stood at the door and trembled all over while clutching the hem of my nanny uniform. Ambrose had called me earlier on to deliver some documents for him at this banquet. The driver responsible for the accident, Maryanne Brown, sat right beside him, ordering me to pour drinks and serve food, mocking me as much as she could. I endured it all in silence and even secretly texted some of the guests so that they could cover for me. If I hadn't forgotten my phone and come back for it, I probably would have never found out that Ambrose's amnesia was nothing but a lie. My mind was in turmoil. I fled as fast as I could. The moment I stepped into the house, my daughter called out in a cheerful tone, "Mommy." Then, her face paled as if realizing something. She quickly covered her mouth, nervously glancing around to make sure no one was there before letting out a relieved sigh. Seeing how anxious she was, I was heartbroken. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. To make his act more convincing, Ambrose had not only pretended not to know me, he'd even refused to acknowledge our daughter, Alexis Carter, as well. He told her that Maryanne was her real mother. Every time she called me mommy, he would fly into a rage. She was only 6 years old, yet like me, she'd become nothing more than a prop in their grand reunion performance. I held her tightly as my heart filled with guilt. She reached up with her small hands and gently wiped away my tears. "Mommy, don't be scared," she whispered. "Daddy and that bad lady aren't here. No one will scold me." A sharp pain twisted inside me. I hugged her even tighter, suddenly finding it hard to breathe. Seeing me gasping for air, Alexis panicked and immediately ran off to get my asthma medication. But my medicine was in the bedroom, and the lock on my and Ambrose's bedroom had been changed this morning. They wanted to keep me out. Ambrose had shouted at me, saying, "Giselle Carter, you're just a nanny. What right do you have to step into my room with Maryanne? Wipe that shameless look off your face. There are plenty of women in this world who want me, but the only woman I care about is my wife." I believed the doctor's words and accepted everything. But I forgot that I was sick. Too much emotional distress could trigger an asthma attack. The suffocating pain overwhelmed me, and I collapsed, too weak to move. Alexis came running back, her bare feet thudding against the floor, her eyes brimming with tears. "Mommy, the door is locked. I can't get in. Mommy, hold on. I'll call for help." She quickly pulled up Ambrose's number on her smartwatch. "Daddy. Mommy's having an asthma attack." "Alexis, your mother is sitting right next to me. What nonsense are you talking about?" "Daddy, I don't want to play pretend anymore. Mommy's medicine is in the bedroom." "What's the passcode?" Ambrose clicked his tongue in annoyance. The next second, Maryanne took the phone. "Alexis, stop this nonsense. Mommy and Daddy are just fine together. Tell that nanny to stop daydreaming. She should go to the hospital if she's sick." With that, the call ended. I told Alexis to dial 911 using the last bit of my strength before darkness consumed me. When I opened my eyes again, I was already lying in a hospital bed. Alexis was leaning against the bedside. When she saw me wake up, her eyes reddened. I called Daddy, but he wouldn't answer. He just had the bad lady warn me instead. "Mommy, did you and Daddy get a divorce?" I turned my face away, my voice muffled with suppressed emotions. "Alexis, would you be sad if Mommy and Daddy got divorced?" Alexis' answer was completely unexpected. "No, I wouldn't. Daddy only likes the bad lady. He lets her bully you, and he kicked you out of the bedroom and forced you to be a nanny. If he really lost his memory, then how can he remember such a big company and all those complicated social connections but forget only you, Mommy?" That was right. Ambrose claimed he had amnesia, yet he hadn't forgotten his company or all the people in his network. The only thing he'd conveniently forgotten was me. I'd been in the business world for years and had seen all kinds of tricks, yet I'd actually fallen for such a shallow lie. I clenched my teeth and laughed at my own stupidity. Before the car accident, Ambrose had been known as the perfect, devoted husband. He'd never hidden his love for me. From the very first day we'd met, he'd pursued me relentlessly. He'd introduced me to all his friends and shared all his passwords with me. Even though we'd never officially registered our marriage, he'd still willingly put all his assets in my name. How could a man like that change overnight? Was it really just because of that one person from his past, someone he'd once longed for but never gotten? Was he still unable to let go of her even after 5 years? I wondered if it had ever crossed his mind that we'd been together for 8 years when he'd been playing me for a fool. I lowered my gaze, my heart filled with hatred and turmoil. Just then, Alexis' smartwatch rang. The voice on the other end was Maryanne's. "Alexis, are you with the nanny? She's getting out of hand. Where did she take you? She's not cooking or doing the laundry. Does she not want this job anymore?" Alexis pursed her lips and stayed silent. I took the smartwatch from her. Right then, I heard Ambrose's voice come through, laced with a hint of nervousness. "Giselle, are you really in the hospital?" I hummed faintly in response and was just about to confront him when he abruptly changed his tone. "Giselle, how dare you? You were supposed to return my daughter to Maryanne today, and now you're faking an illness. You think you can get away with this? Let me tell you, Alexis is Maryanne's daughter. You used your position to transfer her onto your family register. Consider yourself lucky that I didn't sue you for this. And now you're faking an illness? You're really pushing your limits. Just wait, I'm coming to the hospital right now to settle this with you." The call ended. Alexis' face was already streaked with tears. "Mommy, are you really going to give me away to that lady I don't even know?" I let out a deep sigh and gently ruffled her hair. "Of course not. I'll never give you away to anyone." Hearing that, she finally smiled through her tears. I was exhausted. Just as I was about to lie back down, the hospital room door was kicked open with a loud bang. Looking up, I saw Ambrose striding in with Maryanne right behind him. Something hanging around Maryanne's neck caught my eye as it gleamed in the light. It was the necklace my parents had left me. Seeing me pale and weak in the hospital bed, Ambrose's pupils contracted. "Giselle, you're actually sick." I ignored him, struggling to sit up as I glared at Maryanne. "Who gave you permission to take my things?" As I said that, I moved to grab the necklace back. Ambrose's face turned cold, and he quickly stepped between us. "Hey, look at you, so full of energy. You must have bribed the doctor to cover for your lies. Giselle, you're just a nanny. What right do you have to touch my wife?" Behind him, Maryanne smirked mockingly at me. I'd reached my limit. I turned to look at Ambrose and said in a voice dripping with sarcasm, "Mr. Miller, it looks like you're used to bribing doctors to lie for you. No wonder that's the first thing you assumed." Ambrose's face instantly turned deathly pale. He turned to exchange a glance with Maryanne. Both of them looked utterly shocked. "Giselle, what nonsense are you spouting? Where did you get the nerve to talk to your employer like this?" I smiled. "Take off the necklace and give it back to me, or I'll call the police and report you for burglary." Maryanne's face turned bright red. She clutched Ambrose's sleeve, stomping her foot in frustration. "Honey, she's making a fuss over a simple necklace. Just kick this insolent nanny out." Ambrose clenched his fists with a dark and ruthless expression. "Giselle, you'd better know your place." As soon as he said that, he suddenly clutched his head and let out a muffled groan. Maryanne immediately rushed to support him, her tears falling instantly. "Honey, what's wrong? Don't be upset, I'll take you to see a doctor." With that, the two of them left together, and the hospital room fell into silence once more. It was all an act. I knew that Ambrose was only pretending to be in pain, hoping to distract me with worry so I wouldn't notice the cracks in his lies. But what he didn't know was that I already knew everything. I sat still for a moment, then lifted the blanket and picked Alexis up. "Alexis, I'll never give you away to anyone. Let's leave, okay?" Alexis wrapped her small arms around my neck and nodded firmly. I took her home. I'd intended to go into the bedroom to gather my documents, but then I overheard Ambrose and Maryanne talking. "Ambrose, you promised to make Alexis my daughter. You can't go back on your word." My body trembled violently. Before, I'd thought that Ambrose wanted to transfer Alexis onto Giselle's family register just to keep up appearances. I'd never thought he actually planned to give Alexis to Maryanne. Don't worry, I'll keep my word. I know you can't have children, and you want one of your own. Be good, I'll handle Giselle. But she's compromised on everything else, yet she refuses to let go of Alexis. What can you do? I'll keep pretending to be sick and scare her. That stupid woman will definitely fall for it. Soon, their conversation faded into muffled, intimate noises. I stood at the door with a hand pressed against my chest, struggling to remember how to breathe for a long time. I'd never realized how heartless Ambrose could be. He'd used me, his wife of so many years, as a pawn and was now treating our daughter like a gift he could give just to please his so-called true love. I'd never believed in marriage. It was only because he'd moved me that I'd agreed to hold a wedding with him, even though we'd never registered our marriage. After Alexis had been born, she'd been included in my family register, not his. If I hadn't discovered his lies, I might not have been able to legally call Alexis my daughter now. A chill ran down my spine. Holding Alexis tightly, I returned to the nanny's quarters, packed my belongings, and quickly booked a flight out of the country. The bank cards, deposit slips, and property deeds, everything was in my name. None of it had anything to do with Ambrose. But still, nothing could compensate for my lost necklace or the 8 years I wasted on him. I contacted the insurance company and reported my stolen necklace, instructing them to investigate the matter the next day. Then, I picked up Alexis, ready to leave. As I passed by the master bedroom, the door opened. My gaze met Ambrose's, and his eyes filled with surprise. Giselle, weren't you sick? Why are you back? Dressed haphazardly, Maryanne leaned against him and looked me up and down. Giselle, if you dare do anything to my daughter, my husband will never let you off. The concern on Ambrose's face quickly shifted into anger. He grabbed my wrist in a tight grip. Giselle, don't push your luck. We only let you stay as Alexis' nanny for her sake. Maryanne is her real mother. Alexis squirmed in my arms, her tiny hands slapping against the one gripping me. Bad man. Don't hurt my mommy. I recalled that our flight was going to depart in 2 hours and gently held Alexis still. Alexis, don't make a fuss. I'm just a nanny, remember? Turning to Ambrose, I said, Mr. Miller, I'm taking Alexis to the amusement park now. Please let go of me. Ambrose hadn't expected me to be so obedient. His eyes flashed with astonishment, which quickly turned into barely concealed delight. He was satisfied and instructed me to return early so we could go to the civil registry office with Maryanne to transfer Alexis' family register. I nodded expressionlessly, holding Alexis tightly as I walked out the door. Then, I headed straight for the airport.